Welcome back to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. It's great to have you with us. We're broadcasting from the Concierge Landscape Studios. We're brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. Now, before we reach into the disgruntled bag with something that we'll share here in just a moment, we would like our listeners to know a couple of resources and free things that we'd just love to give you. The first is we have a bi-monthly newsletter called What's New. A lot of what we discuss on the show is covered in further detail. We have a lot of people that are on our show that will write for that newsletter. It's yours free. Just call us during the week at New Concepts at 952-922-2500. Ask for Lori, and she'll make sure that you start receiving your free subscription.
We also have a hotline for the radio program. If you have a question, a comment, or an idea for a topic that you'd like us to discuss, call our hotline and leave us a message, 952-224-2668, and we will address it on the air.
Yes. Well, let's go into our first story, shall we? And this is a homeowner who was upset because of what they thought was just an awful, evil thing that took place in their association.
Okay.
They wrote a letter to the Better Business Bureau. And here's what it says. I have 2 lilac bushes, which were around 7 feet tall. But now one is only 2 feet tall, the other 4 foot. Terrible trim job. Every year, the lawn service comes around with a chainsaw to trim everyone's bushes. Every year, I tell them to leave my lilac bushes alone as I've gotten parasites from this communal buzzsaw. This year, they cut one of my 7-foot lilac bushes down to 2 feet, and it just sticking out of the ground. No leaves, nothing. The other was 7 foot tall. It's terrible. And it says, what do they plan on doing to rectify this situation?
Oh, man. She's upset. You can tell. She's using emotional language, isn't she? But
yeah.
Let me make sure I understand the nature of her complaint. She's saying that because the lawn guy was poking his power tool into every bush in the neighborhood, he was spreading parasites throughout the community. So it sounds like her complaint is he was not practicing safe landscaping.
Well,
is that
Tony,
it?
well, that's an interesting observation. But yes, what we're talking about here is someone who is upset, and they use very emotionally charged words. Now, we've made a little bit of fun on that, but certainly we know and we understand in our business, people will be emotionally charged when it comes to their home.
Sure, absolutely.
Whether they're renting or own,
absolutely,
they have a right to those feelings. But the thing that I find always interesting is that people find it necessary to begin with an opening salvo at that level with emotionally charged words because they want to communicate. But when they communicate using words like that, I don't think they want to communicate the truth. I don't think they want to communicate information or facts.
Yeah.
I think what they want to communicate is how I feel. And here's how I feel.
Yeah.
And to this woman, this was a chainsaw massacre where someone was just ripping through, when we know for a fact they didn't use chainsaws for that. There's something called hedge trimmers. Yes, Eric, yes, that's not what's used for bushes.
It could be a power hedge trimmer.
It's going to be a power hedge trimmer, but
Yeah.
it's not going to be a chainsaw.
Yeah. I want to speak to the communication idea, too. She wants to communicate how she feels, and we often call that venting.
Yes.
When someone just wants to release this bad feelings they have and bad emotion they have, they kind of let go of the facts, don't they? So she calls it a chainsaw. They're going through every shrub in the whole neighborhood, and they're chopping them down with a chainsaw, and she's really upset about it.
Yep. And so, yes, she does a great job of explaining how she feels.
But not explaining the facts.
No.
Or
and,
not explaining that she has any understanding of how these things are to be
and,
done.
and the reason that we are bringing this up is because if you are someone who lives in a homeowners association, if you're someone who living in an apartment or for anything in life where you need to convey a message, there is just a lot more credibility and reasonableness that's assigned to you, the more a person can be calm and level-headed.
Yeah, that's
even
true,
though they
isn't
may
it?
be very upset.
Isn't that true? And I can tell you, I get really hot about things sometimes.
Oh, we all do.
I'm struggling with our new software program at work, and I've already composed at least 3 different emails to our account rep, and I can't send them because I sound like Our Lady with the Lilac Bushes. I more want to relieve my stress by being emotional than being specific about the issues.
Now, in this particular case, this person who was upset ended up sending something to the Better Business Bureau.
Right. Now, did she complain to her homeowners association about this?
And what is interesting is that we found out is that she talked to the property manager who's assigned to this property after she had sent things out to the Better Business Bureau.
So she really wasn't looking for a solution, was she?
Well, I think at first she was...
that's kind of,
At first, we're talking about someone who was so upset, they wanted to just get something out there to try and embarrass
and punish.
And punish.
Yeah.
But then they went through this situation. The homeowner realized there's another side to the story.
Well, and let's say this. It's not so awful for us when they go to the Better Business Bureau, because the Better Business Bureau gives us a chance to respond to the issue.
Yes,
correct?
I appreciate it because it allows for clarity and it allows for the real information to be given for people to weigh. And I'm okay with allowing both sides to be out there because I'm optimistic enough to believe at the end of the day, the reasonable person is going to be reasonable.
There you go. Right.
And in this particular case with this homeowner, what she thought was a massacre, she found out that there is something that's called a rejuvenation trim.
Right.
And with anybody who has lilac bushes for any length of time, they grow stronger and the stalks get a woodier base and have bark on them. And then they don't flower on the lower levels, and you only have them flowering and leafing out at the top.
Sometimes not in the middle either. It's like the middle is just all tall sticks and trunks, and you're getting, and plus you're not getting as many blooms every year.
So with a lilac bush, you have the ability to cut them down.
That's right.
And then what you have coming back is something that's all very lush, very green, a bush that blooms in its entirety.
You get more flowers.
And you go, this is even a more beautiful thing.
Lilacs are kind of the classic shrub for this illustration, and because they always need to be trimmed back almost to the ground every few years.
Yes. And so, I just it's nice to see at the end of the day in this story, the homeowner was upset. They got information.
Yeah.
And then after they got the information, they said, "Oh, I guess everything's fine." But now, but now there's something to respond to with the Better Business Bureau. But like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing because it allows for there to be clarity.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't like to see is it's one of the bad things that I don't appreciate as much about Angie's List. For example, because they talk and tout how much that you get real feedback from people who've really
used these people. Yeah.
But just like we just described here, if someone doesn't know the whole story, someone can only share one side of an issue without letting someone else to share their side of the story. That's a little bit unfair. And
Angie's List gives you, the business, no opportunity to answer the accusations.
Yeah, I don't believe they do, folks. If you know otherwise, you can let us know. But I don't think they do. And to that degree, it's a greater disservice to someone, because I tell you, the people that I want to do work for me aren't people who are perfect because, number one, you
won't find those
can't
people.
find them.
That's right.
But number two, I want a vendor, I want a contractor who's going to say, if I make a mistake, I'm going to do right by you and I'm going to correct it.
That's right. That's right.
And
that's a valuable relationship to keep with a contractor.
Yes. And if you do that, that means more than anything else because people are going to flub up.
They are. That's
yes.
right.
But we're not going to flub up right now by missing this break. So, folks, we're going to take a quick break right now. And when we come back, we've got one more segment. So don't go away. You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony on AM 1280, The Patriot.